what's going on, everybody? Happy Valentine's Day. Welcome to another installment of BrickWall Reviews. I'm Dave, and right now I'm going to be continuing my Black Excellence Month. For those of you who don't know, for the month of February, I'll talk about a lot of films, TV shows that star Black people and just exemplify that Black excellence. And this one that I'm talking about today happens to be a romance, and yes, I cleverly timed it to coincide with Valentine's Day. I hope everyone's going to have a great one. I'm just going to be chilling. But anyway, so the film I'm going to be talking about is called Rye Lane. This is a film that came out on Hulu on March 17th of last year. I literally just found out about it. I'll get more into that in a second. But before I go any further, I want to remind you guys, go ahead, hit that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, formerly known, well, now currently known as X, and Twitch, where we do gaming and the Life's BrickWall podcast every Thursday night. If you missed my Super Bowl stream, no worries. We're going to just recap the whole game and recap as much as we can, including the trailers and all that good stuff. So make sure you guys tune in to the Life's BrickWall podcast. Anyway, getting into it. So, Rye Lane. This movie is about two youngsters. It says, this is what it says in the description. Two youngsters reeling from bad breakups who connect over a particularly eventful day in South London. So, South London is key because this movie is very, very British. There's lots of British accents in there. Everyone's British. Everyone talks with their British accent because it's filmed in London. So that's what they talk like. And excuse me if their accent was trash, but it's a British film. So I want to preface this by saying, depending on how you feel about watching the whole film with British accents, where some things you may not really understand. I know I had to watch this with subtitles my second time. You know what I mean? Depending on how you feel about that will really gauge whether or not you should step into this film. Although I do recommend it, and you'll see why in just a second. So this film stars David Johnson, Vivian Opara, Colin Firth is in this movie apparently, Alice Hukin, Levi Roots, and a bunch of other people in here. Benjamin Sarpong Brony, Poppy Allen Quarmby. So really a lot of actors and actresses that I personally have never heard of or really ever seen in anything. But our two leads are David Johnson and Vivian Opara, who played our two leads, Dom and Yaz. So the movie kind of starts, I'll tell you how the movie kind of starts in a very interesting way. So it kind of like has like this aerial view of like different bathrooms and stuff like that. And I know what you're thinking, like different bathrooms, but it's like our intro of sorts. Like, well, it is our intro of sorts. So like, you know how like sometimes in like certain like stories, something like that, they'll say, and I don't know, like, how do I describe it? Like, it's like, we come here to this city. Some people are sleeping, different rooms, different children sleep and go through the night. But one person is up in his room, tinkering, tinkering, tinkering. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to do a voice with it, but you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, so that's kind of like what your aerial view of the different bathroom stalls are like. Hey, in some stalls, some people are fighting, some people are puking, some people are sleeping, some people are duking, like duking. But we get to Dom, our main character, and he's in the bathroom stall. He's crying, and then that's when Yaz walks in. And one thing that kind of caught me a little bit off guard is that Yaz walked into the bathroom, was using the bathroom, but it was a unisex bathroom, which I've never seen a unisex bathroom before. But they had a unisex bathroom, and so she was in there, and he was in there trying not to cry, but he was crying. And we get the reason why later on. So the reason why he was crying was that he was just going through a breakup. But that's not something that's like immediately like portrayed or anything like that. You know, it does take a while for the characters to reveal that thing to each other. But yeah, so Jazz recognizes him when he comes out of the bathroom because she only saw his shoes. So she recognizes him, and then they have a little conversation. They end up walking, leaving the place they were at together, and they just end up from there. They just end up connecting, and so they're connecting through a walk that they're taking. So they're literally like most of the movie is just them walking, talking, getting to know each other, getting to connect each other, and you see the different, you get to learn things about the characters. You see why they had their breakups or what their breakups were, and it's focused more so on Dom. And before I get a little bit more into that, I do want to praise this movie for one thing I really like. So I mentioned earlier that this movie, I found out about this movie. I didn't just go through Hulu, look at it, and say, "Oh, I want to watch that." Like, no, I got this from a recommendation from another YouTuber. Shout out Shay Furlis. He was doing his video for best movies of 2023, and this was on his list. And I'm listening to him describe what it was because I was at work, so I had my phone in my pocket. So I'm listening to what he's describing, and then I'm just like, oh. So I pulls my phone out and I look, and I'm like, oh, this does look interesting. Oh wow, it's black leads in it. That fills into my month perfectly. So, and just listening to him praise some of the things that the movie did, I will tell you, I praise those same things. So like when they're going through the flashbacks, or when Dom's telling Yaz why him and his girlfriend have broke up. So it's like presented, instead of him just telling, they go into the flashback, right? So they're like in the flashback, he's telling it to her, and so she's like, oh, is that this? So like she's interacting with it, right? And it's really cool with them interacting with the flashback, because when the flashback is over, the breakup happened. Dom was at the movies when it happened, right? And so when the flashback's over, Yaz is sitting there with popcorn. They never went to the movies. Prior to the flashback, they did not go to the movies. I checked. They did not go to the movies. They were in the movies in the flashback, and she comes out of the flashback with popcorn, eating the popcorn. So that's very interesting. Like, you know, they comment on it, stuff like that. It's very interesting. Another thing that I liked about this movie too, and I could praise it for, was the different camera angles, and they particularly use a fisheye lens. So the fisheye lens is the one that has it kind of like, you're more rounded off, similar to how this you may or may not look to you, but you're more rounded off. And like, you know, like if I'm in the center, everything else is like kind of like round behind me, because I'm like the center of the frame or something like that. But if you go on your iPhone or your cell phone, your Android phone, whatever, you go on any of your devices and you go to fisheye view, then you'll see what I'm talking about. So it's like it had that camera angle the whole time. Well, not the whole time, but for a lot of the shots. And it really kind of helped, well, at least with me, it kind of really helped me focus on the characters, and as well, like kind of pick out different things in the background. So yeah, those are things that I praise this movie for. It's very interesting to look at, very nice film to look at, just camera wise and camera angle wise. And of course, black, this beautiful black is just shot so wonderfully. Like, oh, oof, like, oh, so much black magic. Oof, calm it down, but don't calm it down, but don't calm it down. Anyway, so Dom tells Yaz about the breakup and what happened with that, which I won't spoil here because that's actually pretty funny. Not funny, but like, that bitch. Anyway, so what ends up happening is where Dom is actually heading to, is that he's heading to a lunch with his girl. Okay, so you know what? I might as well say. So he's heading to the lunch with his ex-girlfriend and her new lover. Which again, I'm not going to spoil that, but when you find out the behind that, it's going to be like, wow. So anyway, so he's gone to the lunch. It's kind of like a smooth things over, put the past behind us type of thing. And Yaz is like, I'll go with you. So he's like, no, I'll go do this myself. You know, we just met, da 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 da. So while he's in there, all of a sudden Yaz comes in and just pretends that, you know, they're dealing with each other. And which, you know, obviously isn't really true because they've just met. But she's like, oh yeah, we met a couple nights ago, and we da 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 da, and this that. And from there on, the movie kind of shifts to where Dom is seems even more interested in her. Yaz kind of is not warming, but their connection grows, is what I'm saying. Their connection gets a little tighter after that. They, you know what I'm saying? They just go and eventually find out about Yaz's breakup, and then you see kind of how they get into a couple of situations that happen. I won't spoil that, but overall, it's just a really nice movie. Obviously, it's a romance and romantic comedy, so you do have like your moment where they, you know, they have a disagreement with each other and they don't see eye to eye, but of course they get back and they love each other in X, Y, and Z. You know, romantic comedy. That's how these things go. But yeah, no. But overall, though, like, this was a really good movie. Like I already mentioned earlier, some of the things I liked about it were the camera angles and you know, like the flashback things. But I also like how the characters just felt so real and so down to earth, right? Like they felt very, very real. And this movie didn't do like a lot of weirder cliches. Like it just kind of, I can't really think of like the cliche, because there was one cliche I was thinking that this movie didn't do that you would usually see in a movie like this, but I can't remember what it was right now. But this was a really fun movie to watch. It's very bright, it's colorful. It does focus also around the art world because Yaz's ex-boyfriend is an artist. One of Dom's friends is the artist. Where Dom and Yaz met was at an art show, and the art was really weird too. So like it's like this one, I'm not an art person at all. Like I don't go to art gallery shows. I'd be wanting to, but I just don't. But it's like this, like his whole presentation, I guess you would call it, was of the inside of people's mouths. Like this mouth. He's like, we know more about the planet Saturn than we know about the inside of our own mouths. Right? Yeah, bro. And then at the end, it was one with butts. And it was like, we know more about Uranus than we actually do our own butts. So this is what I put this gallery together, and then we're doing all this with the take a picture. Don't be afraid to look at it. Make sure you buy some pieces of art there. And it's and I just wanted to do the accent, but yeah, no, it's really interesting seeing that, and then you just learn about the characters, see how they connect too. That's the part that really got me. It's like these are two strangers, right? And I don't be out places, and I don't know how real life is sometimes, and I know real life also isn't like a movie, but it's not from a certain point of personal experience. It's not too far-fetched to have two people that just randomly meet and then they just continue to like just be cool with each other for an entire day, and that leads to them just becoming close because they're walking, they're talking, they're interacting, they're living life, they're learning. At one point she gets him to try some food that she enjoys, and he gets to take her somewhere that she'd never necessarily really been. They go out for drinks, and they even do karaoke together. And it's just the way that they go on these adventures, and they just, and it's all over the course of maybe like one day, I think 1 or 2 days. No, it's like the same day. It's all in the course of one day. Well, at least up until the point where they decide they don't want to talk anymore or whatever the case may be. But yeah, it's all in just like a certain time frame, and it's logical, it's reasonable, it makes sense, and I like that feeling like, hey, like this don't seem too far-fetched to happen to anybody, really. And it's one of those love movies that give you a little hope. I mean, you think about, I'm still lonely. All right, let me stop. But nah, for real though. So this overall though, this is a really good movie. I did enjoy it. The performances were really good. You know what I'm saying? There was some good bits of comedy in there. Like there was this one part, it was in this restaurant, and so it was a guy that was singing. I guess he was singing for the restaurant. I guess he works there. And he was like, what he said, he was like, if you want your meat, leave it on green. That's not how the song was sang, but all right, it looks like, if you want your meat, leave it on green. But if you don't want meat, put it on red. But who doesn't want to eat meat? And that the song was. And I was sitting there cracking up because that was really funny. But yeah, it's other stuff like that. It's like I said, it's just an interesting movie. It's really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that I watched it. I'm glad I was put onto it. Honestly, again, shout out to Shay Furless, Shay Furless Productions over here on YouTube. Give us videos a watch if you want to. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much else to say about this film, though. This is the directorial debut of Rain Ellen Miller, who is she's the director, and yeah, this is her directorial debut. Let me see. Is there anything? Screenplay by Nathan Bryan. Let's see. Is there anything else? No, there's really nothing else I can really think to. The music in this is really good too. They do play some really good music in the background of this movie. Like, they play some really good music. Yeah, so I guess that's really all I can say about it. Critically, in terms of reception and everything, this has a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 7.2 on IMDb. A lot of people say it's just joyous, hilarious, romantic, and I agree with all those things. As for myself, I give it a 4.9 out of 5 stars. Why the 4.9? This is gonna sound wild, right? It's gonna be real wild, right? It's gonna be real wild, real wild. Stick with me, right? There was a period of time where I just couldn't understand what was going on because of the accents. No, all right, but seriously though, that was a joke. Boo, boo. All right, that was a joke. All right, but now I give it 4.9 out of 5 because there was, I don't know. All right, so I don't. Sometimes you don't have a reason for why you don't hit a perfect rating, but I do give it a 4.9 and a high 4.9 at that. I really did enjoy this movie. I don't have a reason why I don't give it the extra point. I just don't. But 4.9 is what feels natural for me, and that's what I give this movie. But I do encourage you to check it out for yourself. It's on Hulu. It's called, once again, it's called Rye Lane. Make sure you check it out and let me know in the comment section what you think. And if you enjoyed the review, hit that like button down below. If you're not already subscribed to the channel. Show me some love. And as always, man, y'all just take care of yourselves. Hey, enjoy this Valentine's Day. If you got something to enjoy, if you got someone to enjoy it with, I was about to say something way different. If you guys want to enjoy it with, you got something to do, enjoy this Valentine's Day. Show love. Every day is Valentine's Day. Every day is a day to love. And also, don't forget Black excellence. So, but all that say, until next time, man, y'all be easy, stay breezy. Peace.